YouTube? It's Seth Minner, and this is Seth Minner's Truths. So today I'm doing top 10 Tokyo Ghoul top 10 Tokyo Ghoul moments. And the channel that you made the video is Anime Regent. So go and subscribe to them. They actually do a pretty good job at describing the anime. So let's jump into it.
If you're into action anime, then you've probably heard about Tokyo Ghoul. Do you imagine yourself being in a world full of monsters? Ones that you have no idea exist in the first place? What if you just fell head over heels over a cute little girl, took her out on a date, and then when your date is about to finally take an end, she decides to take a bite out of you? Literally? That's how this starts. Welcome to the Entertainment Regent, and today I'll be taking a look at the top 10 Tokyo Ghoul moments. Let's begin. Let's start the list off with Kaneki becoming a ghoul. Kaneki is just your normal nerdy guy. He's a college student leading a perfectly normal life. He crushes on this little girl, who's nerdy as well. They're into the same books and things work out well and finally go on a date. At the end of their date, he tries to walk her home, and as they walk down a narrow alley, she bites him the first bite and reveals her true identity. A ghoul, a human eater. Amidst that one-sided fight, because it was Hisei who kept delivering blows to Kaneki, something very heavy falls down on her and crushes her. If Kaneki thought he was unlucky to date a ghoul girl, he certainly didn't prepare for himself to actually be saved by her. That's right, to save Kaneki, he needed organs transplanting, which means Hisei's organs were transplanted into his, which, wait for it, turned him into a ghoul. Well, technically speaking, half ghoul, half human. Next, we have Kaneki versus Jason.
But he gets a bunch of...
Kaneki has been a coward all his life, so what happens when he's taken and tortured? Easy. He cries and screams, like any coward does. Jason takes Kaneki, tortures him for days, and he takes off his nails and tortures him, breaking him.
First of all, I have to pause this for a second. He's tied to a chair. Kaneki is weak. He is not eating humans like he should be doing because he's a ghoul. He is eating human supplements. Stuff that feels his hunger but doesn't strengthen him. So he's not going to be as strong as he usually is. And so how is he supposed to fight Jason if he is literally as weak as it can get? Let's continue this.
Him in every way possible, and Kaneki just sits there screaming all he can until something inside of him snaps. Another side of him takes over. How? Well, our dear old Kaneki decides to be brave for once and becomes stronger by feeding off of Hisei, the cute girl that bit him in the first place. After feeding off of her, he finally embraces his cool part, hence the white hair. He no longer screams, and he just sits there and smiles.
That's from the stress of being tortured.
He rises from the ashes, takes a leap at Jason and bites him, sends blows his way, fights him, tortures him on his turn, counts down the numbers until Jason collapses, and he finally kills him in a swift motion and eats him.
He didn't kill him. He was more cruel too. Read manga if you're gonna watch the anime.
At number 8, we have Arima versus One-Eyed Owl. Arima is certainly one of the main characters in Tokyo Ghoul. So far in these episodes, little has been said about him or his history. As far as everyone knows, he's just a talented ghoul inspector who inspires fear in his enemies' hearts. Arima is a dangerous man. He's been a ghoul inspector for years, and has done an outstanding job in it ever since. He's even the reason Ayato and Tuka's parents are dead. Was it for the greater good? Who knows? But in this episode, we see Arima's full strength. He's fast, deadly, and straight to the point. The episode shows a deadly fight between Arima and the One-Eyed Owl, also known as the deadliest ghoul ever, and the strongest one. Yet Arima dodged all the One-Eyed Owl's moves and was able to give him a taste of his own medicine. With just a blank stare, he keeps avoiding all the blows headed his way and gives a final blow to the ghoul, which sends him falling off the tall building.
He didn't attack Ito and make Ito fly. Ito jumped off the building to escape.
Up next, we have Kaneki versus Ayato. It wasn't a secret that Kaneki had a thing for Tuka, and the same for her as well. Tuka and Ayato are both ghouls and siblings. Their parents were killed when they were 6 by Arima. From then, there were only the both of them as they grew up distant until Ayato joined Onigiri. In this episode, Ayato fights Tuka and takes her down when he prepares to give her the last blow. Kaneki comes and saves her and fights her fight. He fights Ayato, and for a moment right there, Ayato wins him over. But then, Kaneki takes the upper side again until X stops the fight and takes Ayato with him.
And it was Nora that would stop the fight. Where does X come from?
At number 6, we have Tuka and Hiname versus Mado.
Tuka.
I know when I say this that this fight was the most epic one for me. I've never imagined investigator Mado to die this way. Mado has been sniffing for a long time for the whereabouts of all the ghouls in the area, including Tuka and Hiname. So when he finally comes across them, what happens? Just the most impeccable fight ever. Hinami, being the good girl that she is, started crying the moment she knew her parents took Kagunes from Mado to protect himself with them. So Tuka took a leap at him and started fighting him. That was all good until she started tiring up and losing. Mado swings at her with his Kagune that breaks Hinami, who for the very first time shows her real form and starts attacking Mado over and over. She cuts his arm and continues. お前、やっぱり嫌いだよ。 Up next, we have Tatara versus Takizawa. Tatara, who although hasn't been given much attention throughout all the seasons, except when he was with Ito or saving his comrades' lives, is actually a pretty important character in the anime and plays a huge role.
No, honestly,
On top of that, he's been known as being very dangerous and very deadly, so it's no surprise that although all the ghoul investigators took a swing at him, he just kept staring at them and avoiding their hits. But all fun comes to an end, and so does Tatara's life that ended tragically because of Takizawa, the former ghoul inspector, who because of some experiments turned into a ghoul himself. Well, half ghoul, half human. Takizawa comes crashing down from a window only to save Mado and her team from Tatara by fighting him and finally killing him. Number 4 is Kaneki versus Arima.
Kaneki.
All this season is completely maddening, but what's even more shocking is how Arima and Kaneki fought. They've been long-term friends since Heisei, also known as Kaneki, turned to a ghoul investigator. They've been fighting alongside each other all the time and never once during their work together even fought. Unless if it was for learning purposes, as Arima was Kaneki's mentor.
645回
He just like Kaneki.
俺がお前に致命傷を与えることができた回数だ
But to save Yomo from Arima, the one who helped raise Ayato and Tuka, Kaneki stepped down and protected him. He fought Arima even though he didn't want to, suppressed all of his feelings and put them aside and kept taking hits and giving them to Arima until he couldn't stand it anymore. Nonetheless, he continued fighting until he won against him. This fight might have been the most heartbreaking, yet most satisfying one.
本当にとどめを刺すつもりはないんだな気持ちは変わりませんタンクはい終了さっさ先生なんだてめえ
Up next, we have Heisei versus Nishio. After Kaneki loses his memories, he takes down this new persona, a soft and kind one called Heisei, from an Aonigiri member to a ghoul investigator. He's a sensei that teaches and passes down his knowledge to some students he supervises. But a part of his previous life comes back, a ghoul called Nishio threatening the peace of the city, so he fights him using his Kagune. He releases his powers and fights him until he snaps once again.
さすがにタフですねそりゃどう
Kaneki takes over and fights Nishio.
金木西尾先輩
When he finally seems to recognize him, he loses his sanity and is taken down by other ghoul investigators and put down to sleep. The next moment is Kaneki versus Ito. The one-eyed owl, Ito, is probably the strongest ghoul out there. She's half ghoul, half human, and her father was the owner of the coffee shop where Kaneki used to work at. Kaneki had extreme respect for him and promised him that he'll save Ito as a request from her father.
なんで僕がお前みたいなゴミ
This episode, Ito shows her real form as she's a triple S rated ghoul. She destroyed the organization and everything in front of her until Kaneki shows up. They fight a genuine bloody one until Kaneki gives her a last blow, cutting her body in two. Her last words as she fell into the night were, "I love you, Kaneki."